Hello, everyone. Not sure if y'all can hear me. I know it's my reception seems to be a little bit off today for some reason. So I'm very much hopeful that if anyone is here, that they can hear me and that they can get me thumbs up if they're able to see me. I'm not sure if maybe it's a little bit blurry or if it's just my glasses, but it seems like a little bit blurry in here. Um, But I just wanna say welcome. I know that currently, I hope I'm very hopeful. This is my first live. So just to let you know, to let everyone know, my first live ever. So I wanna make sure that my audio is good. I try to do that as much as I could, but I'm not sure if anyone is able to see me on the other side. But just to introduce myself, my name is Nikki. I actually started I started my videos about a month ago or so, or about 28 days or so on. And it just started because I have been struggling with faith for quite some time. So it's been a real journey for me for the past 8 years to trying to get back again into believing God and trying my best to understand my journey and what I'm supposed to learn and what I'm supposed to let go, what I'm supposed to, my lessons and so on. But I'm hopeful that everyone can hear me. Let me see if y'all can hear me just fine. Give me just a minute because I'm not sure if this is working. And I want to make sure that I get this right because one, it's important for me because I just started in this. And two, because I want to make sure that when people jump in and they start asking questions, that I'm able to answer them and that they're able to hear me as well. So let's try to figure this out. But in the meantime, just to keep telling you a little bit about me, started dealing with a lot of anxiousness with a lot about 8 years ago and a lot of health issues that I was struggling and along the way it was just really challenging for me to even believe that there was a God because I was not getting my answers. So somehow I moved from California to Texas 8 years ago, so I am a California native. It's been a blessing to be able to move here to Texas because I feel that here in Texas, I have been able to find myself a lot more than what I was in California. I don't know why, but in Texas, it feels kind of like a spiritual thing going on here. And I have met some wonderful people um, since I've been here. Of course, the one friend, my first friend that I ever had, she moved to Colorado, but she actually has been my friend till this day, and she guides me in a lot of my spiritual journey. So I suggest you always have that one spiritual friend that can, reel you back again into the real world and can help you feel a little bit more confident with moving forward. So I have been, trying to find God and asking him questions, and a lot of times has been no audio, I guess. A lot of us sometimes want someone in front of us to give us the answer physically, and I felt that that was what I needed. But the relationship that I had with God, to be honest with you, it's before I started, struggling with my faith, it was so very simple. If I needed something or if I wanted an answer, I would either get a billboard sign to tell me yes, or somewhere along the way that can help me to communicate what I thought God was saying. So I think I had a pretty solid relationship with Him, and I think that sometimes we get into a new journey of like, okay, well, let's see if you really have this relationship. But I got into doubts, and I feel that now my relationship it's definitely different. I open the Bible, I read the Bible. So I'm getting to know God, Jesus in a whole different way. I never even bothered to opened the Bible before. It wasn't even something that I was interested in doing. But now I do open the Bible. I do like to read about it, and whatever I don't get to understand, I immediately go to GPT and I ask GPT questions. For example, I was able to learn about Saul, that, his name previously was Paul, and, he persecuted a lot of Christians. And this is after Jesus died. And along the way, he met Jesus. Jesus completely changed his life, and it changed his name, changed Saul's name into Paul. And, and it gives me also, it gave me a little scripture about Paul and his life that he had before, why he would change his name when he will speak to a different culture. So Saul, it was when he was when he would talk to the Jewish community, and Paul was when he would talk to the non-Jews, the Gentiles. And I thought that was pretty interesting because I would have never known that just reading the Bible. Now, GPT can pull all this information that comes from scholars, which I think is pretty awesome. If you want to, know something a little bit more deeper about, during those times, how politics was in those times, GPT can pull that out for you immediately. Immediately. Now, I'm not saying it's the best tool. You should also have somebody that can help you explain things as well. But I just think it's a good method to start. Um, Better than just sitting there and, not knowing anything or going crazy. So for me, this actually currently works. I am sure that along the way, I'm going to meet people that are going to help me to understand things a little bit more. But as I said, this for me works. So I'm gonna keep using it. And I think it's pretty fun, to be honest with you. Again, it helps me to reach out, to whatever information that scholars are giving you. Because Bible, you also have to understand what was going on in those times. Again, like I said, politics and things like that. It helps you to understand immediately. So if I have a question, GPT will answer it right away. Um, I have had Bible studies before where they're not able to take me back all the way. They're only able to answer whatever the Bible says at the moment. But because I'm the kind of person I'm asking always a billion questions, it's important that I get to have the answers there and then. I have not yet met anyone that can help me physically to understand the Bible, but I know I will. I definitely will. But just to kind of take you back a little bit, 8 years ago when I started understanding that I was, my faith was being tested, or I was testing myself with my faith. It was for me definitely a very hard moment, but it's gone easier with time. I know a lot of us, we want that, that fixing immediately, and let's fix it now and let's do it now. And that's not how life works. And I feel that sometimes when we're so adamant to want things to be fixed now, we're actually making the pain a lot longer, and we're delaying that healing. Now, during that time, God is always with you. So, God, I feel the way I see him in a physical matter is that he's looking at me and just saying, okay, Nikki, you let me know when enough is enough. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be watching you, whatever you choose, whether you want your healing longer or whether you want your healing shorter. I'm going to be here. You make that decision. And whatever you decide, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. So that's how I see it. So he's just more looking at me like, okay, look, girl, you do you right now. Whatever you're ready, you just, I'm going to be here. You don't even have to call me because I'm looking at you. So that's how I feel this relationship is with him. And it's gonna be up to you, right? So it's gonna be up to you how you wanna be able to receive this healing. And that's gonna be your choice. And there's no right and wrong. Um, sometimes we have to go, like for me, I had to go through this whole few years of trying to search, whether it was Kundalini, I believe. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong, but if it was that type of yoga, and it works for other people, and if it works for you and you're doing that and that has healed you, emotionally, spiritually, in every sense of the way, then good for you. I'm glad you found your journey. But a lot of us have searched through a whole bunch of things, and none of it worked. And that was for me. None of it was working until one day I said, "Okay, I'm done. I'm done trying to look for all these healing." Because I kept thinking of the one verse that it's in the Bible that says, knock and you will, ask and you will receive. Knock and a door would be open, something like that. And I felt like, okay, I'm going to keep knocking. I'm going to keep searching. I'm going to be paying a lot of money to get these healing going. I'm going to, and it wasn't cheap. It wasn't cheap. But I think that in honesty, the healing comes when you decide to take a moment and know that nothing externally, at least for me, nothing externally was hurting me. Everything was in my mind. And I started thinking, and even just me saying this right now, I started thinking, well, what if I just stop and I started looking all around me and started seeing what's going on? So everything around me, it's fine. My daughter is healthy, my husband is healthy, my mother is healthy. Everything around me, it's fine. It's me who is struggling mentally. So I chose to now start looking into that. And reading the Bible has helped me. I'm not going to tell you, oh, look, my life is perfect now. And I think that it's never going to be perfect, right? Because God always tells us that life is not perfect, but we have to walk with Him in order for things to be a little less painful. Meaning, if you're going through a debt situation and it's a very hard financial moment that you're having, there are things in the Bible that can help us to understand what debt means. And there's things that can help us to understand how to get off of it and how to, not fear money and things like that. So there's so much in there, and that's where I was not looking in the Bible, and that's where I should have been looking in the Bible. So I really think that if you're one of those person that is struggling, looking into the Bible, it's a very good start. Now, if you want to open GPT, I know GPT has some free access as well. I think it's definitely a good way to start. If you ask GPT, where can I find, anything about fear, anything about money, or anything about marriage, how to be a good wife, how to, your husband, I guess pretty much your husband would have to look for his own questions because you can't change no one. They got to change themselves when they want to change. But there's ways on how to be a good mom, and a lot of us go find, help self-help books, um, looking for that answers, but it's there in the Bible. And I can assure you, a lot of these things that this self-help books have, the Bible has it. For example, the law of attraction talks about, ask as you have it, and the Bible says that as well. Actually, let me see if I can pull it up right now. Uh, and to give you an example on how this goes, I'll type GPT, I'll tell him where is about asking and act as you have received in the Bible verse. So sometimes when I type it, I'm all over the place, but I tend to pretty much it helps me to narrow the whole thing down. So GPT at this point knows my content, knows what we talk about constantly. So even if I miss something or I'm very specific on what I want, GPT knows it. I know a lot of people are afraid of GPT, but we have had amazing tools throughout our lives that has been able to be helpful. The internet at some point was scary, and then people started using it, and now look, we can communicate around the world. I know Instagram and Facebook has been always a concern, but I think it's about how you use a tool. Don't let the tool use you, is you use the tool. So, and what I was talking about, the law of attraction, I pulled a few verses. One, it says Mark 11:24 from the NIV translation says, therefore, I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours. This right here, if you read it in the law of attraction, or if you have heard it before, which I'm sure you're familiar with the law of attraction, it tells you act like you have it. So the Bible is telling you this. So a lot of these things that you find externally, there's been always a book that have had it for centuries and lot of centuries, a lot of years, and the Bible has it. So I think it's sad how with time, we have forgotten, uh, a lot of where we can find a lot of answers, but if they had, like I said, if it helped you in any way, reading the law of attraction, and it helped you to get out from a dark place, and I'm all for it, but just don't forget that you cannot move away from God. All this, all the law of attraction has come from greatest books like the Bible. So for me, it's about, okay, what do I want to trust? Do I want to trust something that's been here for a very long time, or do I want to trust something that's freshly new? And definitely something that we all have had for a very long time. So I'm gonna keep reading my Bible. I'm gonna keep asking GPT, questions that I will have in the future. And that's just the way I'm currently being guided, and I don't mind it. I'm telling you, I think it's a pretty cool tool to use, and a lot of my videos, because I like to do research, I'll jump in, and I'll ask a billion questions. So when I have my YouTube video ready, I know what to say, and so on. So in case anybody has a question too, I'm completely prepared to just answer the question with no problem. But yeah, so I definitely think that this is a very good tool. And I think that we all have to learn to open our Bible and read it. Again, if there's a verse that you have read and you don't understand, use GPT, or if you have anyone that can help you to understand it, then by all means, feel free to, dig in. The whole point is opening the Bible. Doesn't matter how you get to learn about it. Doesn't matter how what it's the whole point. Ultimately, like I said, it's about getting to know Jesus. How you're doing it, it doesn't matter. It's just about opening the Bible and getting to know him, because in the Bible, that is where you're going to find out about him. And I don't want to have that relationship before, where I used to just have a Bible and think that I'm protected because I had the Bible right next to me. I know there's a lot of people out there that will put their Bibles on the side of their, headboards, or at the entrance of the door, and they just feel that by just touching it, you're protected. No, actually, you have to open it. You have to open it, and you have to understand, Jesus, that it's the only way you're going to be, um, you know, I don't know. I don't want to say safe, but I think that's the only way you're going to know what to do when you leave your home, because you have to carry yourself as a child of God. And the only way for you to know that, it's how he wants you to act, and that's the instructions. It's in the Bible. So I definitely recommend you open it. Now I'm starting to get in that habit of doing it a little bit more often. It's not easy. I would tell you that the walk with him, it's not easy, but I feel that I'm less lost. And with the times that I have sometimes jump into a little bit of sadness, I immediately remember a verse, and then I'll keep repeating it again and again and again. And it's not like, okay, that one verse, and there's going to be sunshine and a rainbow and all these unicorns coming out and your life gets better. No, it's about using a verse to get through the day, and your next day will be lighter. It will get better. Um, so I definitely encourage you to open the Bible. I definitely encourage you to um to start reading it, and like I said, use GPT. For me, it has changed a lot. And I still have a long way to go. I think that while we're in this earth, we're never done. But I do think that now looking back, the a lot of the pains that I had been dealing with, it was for me to start opening the Bible. It was for me to start learning about God and definitely getting to know him. Now I'm getting to know him because before, remember, I only had a Bible, but I never opened it. Now I'm actually getting to know him. So yeah, I welcome you to jump in and tell me, what you think, or tell me how you have your relationship with Jesus. Are you those persons that wake up early in the morning and read the Bible and then does a little Bible study, or you do it at night, or do you do it in the afternoon? How is that your relationship with Jesus is? Um, I also want to know what has been your journey. Have did you along the way just lost faith as well, and you're trying to find God? Um, I know that's my case. I'm still trying to find Him. Um, and the thing is that I want to be able to have my faith a lot stronger. So there's people out there in podcasts, and I have mentioned it before, like, you know, um, Yinko, the George Yinko guy. Their faith is so strong, that I want to be able to have that faith. But in order for me to have that faith, that means I had to walk in his shoes. And there's only one person that could walk in his shoes, and that's George himself. We're all have a different journey. I have a different journey, and it has taken me to go through what I gone through in order for me to finally say, Jesus, let me get to know you. And yours is going to be as well like that. Um, if you feel that you have not gone through any hard moments where you're having to just look for God, like you pretty much feel that you have no choice. You have no choice, you have had no choice but to look for God. That's actually not bad at all. Uh, but yeah, so pretty much let's see if we get anybody in here to try to wait and see if anybody jumps in and wants to talk about God. And also, I have done many other videos. Um, there's also a video about fake uh, Christianity, meaning there's people that I like to pretend that they wake up at a certain time and they do their Bible study at 5 in the morning, and then they go to the gym, and then they drink this green juice, and then again another Bible study. And it's a perfect life that we tend to look at, and we tend to feel like I want that life. But I can assure you it's not that way. I can assure you that their life is not at all so glamorous. And I wish that a lot of people can show what, struggles truly are, because it helps us to find, um, it helps us to not feel alone versus making these videos where everything seems so perfect, but it's not. Truthfully, it's not. And I think if things like that would show a little bit more, people wouldn't feel as alone. Okay, so let's see if we find anybody else who can come and jump in the live. I don't know why my camera, for some reason today, seems a little bit blurry. Like I said, I'm not sure if it's my glasses. No, it's my camera. So I'm gonna have to fix it. So YouTube has this thing that whenever you have over 50 subscribers, that you can have a live on your phone, which is a lot more clear than my camera. And if you have less, then you have to do it on your computer. My camera is not an amazing quality. I definitely open up this page where, I could use the tools that I could afford and whatever I have now. Um, Cameras are expensive, and to talk about the word of God, you don't need the latest camera. Will be nice to improve the quality, of course, but you don't need to have expensive stuff in order for you to talk about Jesus. So that's the reason I opened up the page as well, because I know that there are people that are struggling. When I looked on YouTube, it was I never found someone that can tell me, okay, I'm struggling with my journey. I have all these questions, and through the mist, show you that they're still walking with Jesus despite where their faith is. Um, if you know anyone like that, please share their profile with me. I would love to hear from them. But I never saw that, so I figured, hey, listen, let me open up a page and see how that goes, and see if I can inspire anyone. And if I can inspire someone to know that they're not alone, I feel like it's an accomplished mission, because I know that we're all lost, and I don't want people to think that they're alone. I'm in it. And like I said, it has not been an easy walk. There are days that are better than others, but I'm grateful for those days that are good. And actually, I heard a phrase, I'm not sure from where, but I heard somebody once said, where there is gratefulness, or where there's gratefulness, there can be no anxiousness. I think I'm saying it right. I'm not sure. But pretty much it's saying, if you're grateful for something, you cannot really be anxious at the same time. And you have to mean those gratefulness. Whatever you're grateful for, you have to mean it. So for me, when I think of something that I can truly mean in my heart, because as you start, then you'll be grateful for more other things that you will not believe you're grateful for. I start just with the fact that I'm breathing at the moment, that I can hear my breath. And then another idea will pop in, that I can feel the floor. And then another idea will pop in, or that I have a car. And then there's a feeling that just starts growing more and more and more. And it helps me to be grateful with other things. As funny as it is, then I'll start feeling grateful for my daughter, that she is healthy. Because you can start with, okay, let me just start feeling grateful for, okay, my daughter, she's healthy, but you're not feeling it. Then you're just doing something because you have to do, and you're faking it until you make it. And that phrase, fake it until you make it, I don't know, it just doesn't sound right to me. Um, I want to be able to feel something. Like I said, even if it's just breathing, even if it's just touching the floor, even though I have two arms, just little things like that, they help you to grow, your grace. It helps you to be more thankful for bigger things. So if you want to start, just start there. Start with three things, take a deep breath, start with three things, and then see how it goes. Does it help you to go to the next, thankfulness? And can it help you to think about something that you can, be grateful for? And I don't know. I really think it works. It works for me because in the beginning, I used to think, how do I do this? How do I start? But just start small. Just start small, and that goes a long, long way. Try to do that every single day. I try to. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not perfect. But I can tell you that things are different than what they were 8 years ago, 7 years ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago. And all that, it's been because I have chosen to finally open the Bible and read about God. I don't know. It's just, there's something amazing when you make that decision. And you don't get to see it there and then, you get to see it with time. So for me, I can say maybe 6 months ago, I started feeling certain changes, or maybe 2 weeks ago. But things are better. Things are much better. And whether I'm the one who was resisting to the changes, again, by trying to tell God that I could do it myself, um, uh, I don't know, just something happened. Something happened along the way that just feels different. And I know this can be different for you, and I know things will be different for you. But it's matter about, do you wanna delay things more, or do you just wanna give it to God and say, "Okay, you can take it. I give up." I did that. I do that every day, and whenever I tell God, "No, let me handle it," there's always now a sign that, helps me to see that I'm not letting it go. And if something happens, my brain tends to sometimes start thinking that there's something wrong, but now I tell my brain, "Wait a minute. No, there's nothing wrong. Don't freak out. Everything is fine. You're fine." So I want you to know that during those moments when you start feeling things are falling apart, even if they are, take a deep breath and just picture, how would you feel if in that moment that you're struggling, things would be the way that you truly want them to be? How does that make you feel? Does it make you feel good? Does it make you feel happy? Does it help you to release some sort of stress? Then let's change the way we're thinking about that situation and know that there is a chance. That is what God wants you to do. Feel that moment, because when you feel how you want things to turn out, it feels to me as you're telling God, "This is what I want. I'm giving it to you. It's going to be your choice how things are going to be." And things will start happening. Really, truly, things will start happening. So I want to thank you honestly for being here. It means a lot that you jumped in on live with me, and it feels exciting to do this. I did not know that I could do this. So definitely it's something that I'm gonna, keep doing. Again, I thank you for being here. Maybe I'll jump in later again and try to talk more about God. But I love you. Much blessings to everyone. And know that you're not alone through this journey. Know that you're never alone. There's hundreds, thousands, millions of people that struggle with faith. And it's a community that we all need to be able to keep our faith strong, and we're all going to find it. So if that you want to add me as part of your community, I will love to be in your community. Send me a message. Keep watching my videos. I'm very much hopeful that any of my videos are very inspiring to you. Leave me comments in any of them, and know that I'm just like you, a struggling human being trying to find God, and we're gonna find them together. Thank you again for being here, and I'll see you in the next live.